We start in a plane, flying low over Bagalia, the so-called Red Light Nation. It's got a band of heavily armed mercenaries aboard who are about to attack some kind of target. Everyone's got heavy weapons and jetpacks, ready for the job. A few of the mercenaries chatter about past jobs, but their commander insists they focus. They've got a task here. They've got to get it done first. They need to get their game faces on. The commander leads them over to their jetpacks. They're gonna use these for insertion, flying in to attack with these things. A young merc with red hair and pimples eyes the guy next to him nervously. Whew, I don't know about you, kid, but all this macho mercenary banter has given me the vapors. Y'all think they offer cold showers at the drop zone? The older mercenaries talk about this new arrival. They aren't excited about the weird guy riding shotgun on this job, but the client said he had to come along, and soon enough, they're in range of the target. The commander starts ordering his men up, ready for the attack. Unfortunately, the red-headed merc has met with an untimely fate. He's taken a knife to the kidneys, courtesy of the weird guy who is riding shotgun on this job. And out of the shadows, we see Deadpool emerge, katana at the ready to take down these mercenaries. It's a well-planned sneak attack. The group unloads on Deadpool, one merc even able to land a knife blow, but they're too close and Wade's too fast. This is only ever going to go one way. Still, Wade at least tries to be polite about it, claiming that under other circumstances, he could have been friends with these guys. The pilot's voice comes onto the intercom, yelling. He doesn't know what's going on, but the gunfire alarms him. You can't shoot guns on a plane. Yeah, somehow Deadpool is being the more safety-conscious one here, sticking to his swords. It's the mercenaries who are gonna bring this down. Guys, this is gonna be a lot easier if you stop shooting me and just take these lethal sword strikes like professionals. The commander and his remaining subordinate unload small arms on Deadpool even as he gets closer. But it's futile. In the cockpit, one of the pilots pulls his own pistol and goes to the door to check what's going on. Unfortunately, he just gets stabbed for his trouble. The last man flying the plane gets Deadpool pointing a gun to his head before he can do anything. Answer fast if you want to live. A group of fraternity brothers pool their money to buy a car. If they had 4 more members, each member would have paid $10 less. If they had 6 fewer members, each member would have paid $20 more. How much did the car cost? The pilot tries to work it out. If you add... Too slow. Now that he's eliminated most of the mercenaries, Deadpool turns to the audience. He knows this is a kinda confusing in media res opening without a lot of context. He's gonna give it to us, but a rapidly falling plane isn't the place for it. Instead, he takes us back a few days ago, where he was going incognito in a hoodie and star cap. Wade's been called to meet an old pal, Weasel. The straight-laced fixer isn't fond of Wade's habit of talking to the audience, but he knows him well. Deadpool takes a sec to check out a box of Weasel waffles, comparing the cartoon mascot to his old friend. Something's up here. Wade pulls Weasel close as he lays it out. Weasel's looking shifty. He wanted Wade to meet him in a public place. The fixer's eyes are darting about, like he's looking for someone. Wade's first guess is that someone's trying to kill his buddy. The thought is enough to make him almost pull a gun, ready to ventilate whoever's gunning for Weasel. But the straight-laced crook tells Wade to chill out. It's nothing as deadly as that. There's no need for Deadpool to cause a scene. They can just talk. Wade protests that causing a scene is something he really enjoys. He plans to keep on causing scenes even if he retires from the assassin life. Weasel scoffs at that. He knows Wade will keep being dramatic, but doesn't buy that he'll ever retire. The fixer just figures this is Deadpool trying to get more money out of him, and he won't have it. As such, Weasel starts giving a briefing. He's got 2 potential targets for Deadpool here. The first guy is Shuten Doji, a former member of the Hand who wears a metal demon mask. Fitting. Doji takes his name from an Oni in classical Japanese mythology. He's got an army of ninja and an arsenal of high-tech weaponry. But Doji also has enemies. Enemies who hate him enough to contract out the wet work to people like Weasel and Wade. Deadpool flicks through Weasel's file on Shuten Doji, excited. It's like Tinder, only for killing. So, murder? Weasel takes his phone back and flicks over to the second contract. Samson Scars Green, the commander of the mercenaries Deadpool took out in the introduction. Weasel explains that his crew do a bunch of bloody, no questions asked assignments. Assassinations, kidnapping, even burning down a village just cause they were bored. Weasel's happy to let Deadpool go for either target. They're both high value. You'll get a ton of money from either one. Wade just has to pick which one he wants to tackle. Back on the plane, Deadpool explains his thinking a bit. These mercs are bad news. They've got no code of honor. When one soldier of fortune starts behaving like a reprobate, well, that just gives us true professionals a black eye. The merc with a mouth looks over the flight harnesses the mercenaries had planned to use before hitting the button to lower the exit ramp. Wade's not gonna let these dead mercenaries go to waste, and thankfully, they're en route to Shuten Doji's castle. Deadpool's going after both targets. Doji's castle isn't as outdated as it looks. Atop the walls are heavy machine guns and missile launchers. Within the castle, a radar screen has already picked up the mercenary plane closing in on them. A band of heavily armed monks run up to their warlord, ready to report as much. The iron-masked marauder isn't surprised. He's already sensed the plane thanks to his mystical powers. Doji orders the monks to shoot it down at once. They're to leave no survivors and don't need to report back. This shouldn't be a big deal. The castle's defenses fire smoothly. A whole battery of missiles fly, zeroing in on the mercenary dropship. Before they can strike, however, a bunch of jetpack-wearing figures fly out of the drop hold. The monks cry out. These people are clearly launching an attack. Even as the plane is reduced to nothing but shrapnel, the defenses keep firing, shooting the attackers to smithereens. Of course, the attackers are all already dead. But that's fine. This was all just one big diversion for Deadpool. He just strapped a bunch of corpses into jetpacks, turned the rocket on, and threw them out of the rear hatch. Even as the plane descends in flames, the castle's personnel are too busy shooting at the corpses. The jetpacks ensure that as they crash down, they explode, blanketing Doji's castle with flames and keeping the monks distracted. With all these corpses falling and fire raining, it's hard to keep track of anything. One of the monks notices a familiar red figure fall to the ground, also burning. He kneels down to check on this attacker. That gives Deadpool the perfect opening to stab him right in the gut. His fellows open fire, trying to avenge him, but it's no use. Deadpool throws a now broken blade right at the forehead of one monk before turning his attention to the remaining defenders. He blasts at them with a handgun, laying the monks out one by one. But the merc with the mouth is disappointed. I kinda had my heart set on ninjas. Well, the universe doesn't like the disappointed Deadpool. One of them starts to run towards Wade, even as he's picking bits of metal out of his wounds. The black-suited figures run through the fortress, readying shuriken as Wade pulls his second gun. Deadpool glances around as the ninjas jump towards him. That gets a grin from the merc with a mouth. There's a lot of ninjas here, a whole army of them in classic black pajama style, all armed with old-school weaponry. They're coming at Wade from every direction, charging over the bodies of the fallen monks. It's gonna be an epic, exciting fight for the ages, right? What happens for the next minute or so is a kind of ninja standoff. These guys are trying to use their chi or whatever to dominate me even before the fight begins. Me, on the other hand, I'm playing Wu-Tang lyrics over and over in my head. It's kind of a perfect time. Oh. Well, that gives us time to check back in on Deadpool's personal life. Weasel's come around to his apartment and is not impressed. It's a run-down mess. Trash screen everywhere, dirty washing in the sink. Still, Wade has a pretty nice TV. Weasel asks about the mess, and Deadpool claims the previous tenants left it all, while he just likes the ambiance, so didn't bother cleaning up. Before they can get any deeper into snark, however, Deadpool spots something odd. Weasel's shirt has a name tag on it. like he's just got out of working a regular 9-to-5 job. Weasel doesn't want to explain his name tag, however. He's just here for a delivery, and Wade, in his miscolored Rowlet shirts, is happy to receive it. Weasel secured a whole arsenal of weaponry for the Merc with a mouth. He's even got Deadpool branded grenades and a red and black colored katana hilt. It's everything Wade'll need to take down both of his potential targets. Wade checks his new guns, grinning at the prospect of violence. The Fixer's a bit more skeptical, however, not sold on this take both jobs at once thing. It could come back to bite them. Wade's not worried a bit, however. It's just more efficient. He's still planning on retiring at some point and is more interested in his own tropical islands than a rundown apartment. Weasel snorts, but Wade's seemingly sincere about it, claiming that the job doesn't thrill him anymore. As he's getting into that though, Weasel gets a call, and Deadpool's Fixer friend sounds oddly nervous. Yeah, of course. I'll take care of it. Who is it? Who are we taking care of? 2 dozen? You've got it. 2 dozen? 2 dozen targets? I'm in. Weasel ends the call as quickly as he can, promising the person on the other end of the line that they'll talk about it soon. Wade tries to talk more about his plans to retire, but Weasel isn't in the mood to humor him anymore. He just writes the idea off, heading for the door as quickly as he can. Weasel's convinced Deadpool can't really change. As far as the Fixer's concerned, no one can really pull that off. Deadpool's dominating the ninja horde. He's got a bunch of advantages in this fight. There's his general superpowers. There's the fact that he's got guns, while the ninjas are relying on swords. But, as you'd expect from Wade, he attributes his advantage to having watched far too many ninja movies. He's studied all the moves and is more than a match for them. Wade discards a spent gun rather than bothering to reload it, pulling a sword and moving to melee. He's ready for regular old ninjas. Unfortunately for Deadpool, next up are superpowered ninjas. These guys combine blades with strange enhancements that make their fists glow with blinding energy. These new ninjas are clearly a step up for Deadpool. It's like he's fighting a whole group of Iron Fists. Wade crosses blades with these super ninjas, impressed at how far they're willing to take the bit. But the super ninjas aren't willing to play fair, circling behind Deadpool and punching him with a glowing fist right in the back. The Merc with a mouth is sent sprawling across the battleground. The ninjas close in, blades and fists ready to finish off the fallen Deadpool. Before they can, however, Wade has a surprise for them. Deadpool-branded grenades. The ninjas' eyes go wide in these precious final seconds before they're all blown to bits. The only one left standing is Deadpool, who walks over to the carnage. He picks up one of the enhanced hands, taking a closer look at it out of curiosity. That was pretty cool. Still, he's here for the big boss, not the muscle. Wade heads deeper into the ominous castle, sneaking through its halls and sticking to the shadows as best he can. Still, thoughtful guy he is, he takes a second to check back in with the readers before heading into his final fight. Shuten Doji is an imposing figure. He towers above Deadpool, held aloft by 4 metallic arms. Given the look of them, it seems like he was able to get a spare of Dr. Octopus's classic harness, but these seem merged with his flesh. The iron-helmed Oni looks down at Deadpool, utterly unimpressed by the Merc with a mouth. You look as if you can barely stand. How can you hope to challenge me? Deadpool claims that he was hoping Doji would just commit seppuku in shame after witnessing the death of all those ninjas outside. That would make things easier for Wade. But the Oni warlord isn't interested in doing any favors for his would-be killer. 2 mechanical tendrils whip out, grabbing Wade so quickly his sword is jerked from his hand. Doji pulls Deadpool close, threatening him with a most unpleasant death. But Wade has an ace up his sleeve, or rather up his entire hand. He cut off his own hand and put one of the cybernetic ninja super hands on the stump instead. The Techno Fist flares, its superpowers activating. Doji's eyes go wide, and with one enormous punch, the immortal Deadpool Fist destroys the Oni King. Fragments of tendril and broken mask clatter to the ground, smoking from the force of that overwhelming blow. Deadpool's own body is burning after that. The cybernetics seemingly fried his whole arm. He rambles to himself, talking about his cool new title of the immoral Deadpool Fist, destroyer of multiple baskets of nachos, before finally remembering to call Weasel for a pickup. Even with his super healing, losing this much blood is going to put Wade out of commission for a while. Deadpool falls to the ground, finally spent. For once, he's pushed his limits so far, he's going to need to sleep this off. Still, he makes it back to New York, and back to his old buddy, Weasel. Deadpool's still wondering what's going on with his fixer. Weasel tells him that there's nothing going on with him. He builds weapons, secures gigs, does all the same stuff he always has. Wade isn't buying it though. He takes a second to rummage in the glove compartment of Weasel's car, finding the evidence to prove what he already suspected: a wedding ring. Weasel's. There's a tan line on his finger where he'd normally wear it. Breaking down, the fixer finally explains himself to Wade. He got married 8 months back. Wade doesn't get what this has to do with how his friend's been acting, wondering if Weasel has basically been cheating on his wife with Deadpool. Weasel explains that that's kinda it. His wife, Clarice, doesn't know about his criminal life. He's convinced she'd be furious if she ever found out Weasel works on Black Ops contracts in his spare time. Wade asks the obvious question: why does Weasel still do this then? He's got what Deadpool wanted, or something close to it at least. A chance at a clean slate and happy retirement. Why does Weasel want to make it messy by still handling mercenary contracts? You know damn well why I do it, Weasel snaps at his friend. He doesn't feel like himself since he got married. This connection, this grounded life, robs him of something. Weasel is choosing to keep up this black market career with Wade. He thinks Deadpool should understand what this feels like, but no, Wade doesn't follow. He's still focused on retirement as a goal. As soon as he's saved up enough money, Deadpool plans to quit and live the good life. He wants that for Weasel too. As his fixer speeds off, Wade calls after him. If you got a good thing going, Weasel, don't let murking ruin it. We both gotta get out, man. Both of us. He means that. Deadpool cares about his friends, especially friends who can get him cool, glowy fist cybernetics. But later, when he's stuck in his apartment, Wade can't help but feel kinda empty. He keeps checking his phone. After a while, he texts Fixer, wondering if there are any more jobs. He keeps texting even hours later when his room's gone dark, not taking his eyes off the screen. Does he just want to finally hit that retirement score? Or is the job too much fun for Wade to ever quit? There's certainly worse ways for Deadpool to go out than retirement. Check out our video on his top 10 most embarrassing deaths for proof of that.